The highest point in the Netherlands is 322 meters. That's shorter than the Eiffel Tower. Drive across the entire country and you won't find a single natural hill worth mentioning. The landscape stretches flat in every direction, broken only by windmills and canals reaching toward the horizon. And yet, somehow, the Dutch have become one of the most mountain-obsessed nations on Earth. They flood alpine ski resorts every winter. Their cyclists dominate the Tour de France's toughest mountain stages. They've even built artificial ski slopes inside shopping malls. So why does the flattest country in Europe have an obsession with the one thing it doesn't have? To understand this obsession, you first need to understand just how flat we're talking. The name Netherlands literally translates to lowlands. The French call it Pays Bas. Same meaning, the country's average elevation is just 30 meters above sea level. For context, the global average is 840 meters. But here's where it gets wild. 26% of the Netherlands sits below sea level. Without its dikes and pumping stations, 65% of the country would flood at high tide. 9 million people live on land that technically shouldn't exist. The lowest point, a place called Zuidplaspolder near Rotterdam, sits nearly 7 meters below sea level. They drained it in the 1800s using 30 windmills pumping water day and night. And that highest point? Vaalserberg? It's not even really Dutch. It sits in the far southeastern corner where the Netherlands touches Belgium and Germany at a place called the Drielandenpunt, the three-country point. Most Dutch people have never bothered to visit it. As the Dutch like to say, God created the earth, but the Dutch created the Netherlands. But if they created their own country from the sea, why stop there? And that question is exactly what sparked one of the strangest national obsessions in Europe. Every winter, something bizarre happens in the Austrian Alps. Over 1 million Dutch tourists descend on the mountains. For a nation of 18 million people with 0 ski slopes, that's extraordinary. And they don't just visit, they take over. Resorts like Meihofen in the Zillertal Valley have adapted completely. Dutch-speaking ski instructors teach on the slopes. Menus are printed in Dutch. Entire websites cater to Dutch visitors. During peak season in places like Selbach and Sölden, you'll hear more Dutch than German in the village streets. Austrian tourism boards have a name for this phenomenon. They call it the Dutch invasion. The numbers are staggering. 60 to 67% of all Dutch ski holidays go to Austria. In the Salzburg region alone, Dutch visitors log 2 million hotel nights per winter. And here's the kicker. 92% of Dutch tourists in Austria are there specifically for winter sports, the highest percentage of any nationality. But maybe the wildest part is what happens back home in the flatlands. Because the Dutch couldn't bring themselves to mountains year-round, they brought mountains to themselves. The Netherlands operates 7 indoor ski centers for 18 million people. More indoor ski facilities per capita than any country on Earth. Snow World Landgraf in Limburg province is the crown jewel. 5 slopes covered in real snow. 8 ski lifts carrying visitors up artificial hills. 35,000 square meters of winter, open 365 days a year from 9 in the morning until 10 at night. From 2001 to 2020, it was the largest indoor ski hall in the world. It has the only 6-seater chairlift in the Netherlands, which sounds impressive until you remember it's the only chairlift of any kind in the Netherlands. Dutch children routinely learn to ski indoors, practicing on artificial snow beneath fluorescent lights before ever seeing an actual mountain. And nobody thinks this is strange. But skiing is just the beginning. Because the Dutch relationship with mountains gets even weirder when you look at what they've accomplished on 2 wheels. Alpe d'Huez in the French Alps, the most iconic climb in professional cycling. 21 hairpin turns winding up the mountainside, 1,100 meters of elevation gain over 14 kilometers. And for decades, one country has owned this mountain more than any other. Dutch riders won 8 of the first 14 stage finishes at Alpe d'Huez in Tour de France history. So many victories that the French started calling it something new. La Montagne des Hollandais, the Dutch mountain. Hairpin number 7 is officially known as Dutch Corner. Tens of thousands of orange-clad fans camp there for days before tour stages, creating a wall of noise, barbecue smoke, and orange flares that riders must pedal through. In 2013, when the Tour climbed Alpe d'Huez twice in one stage, an estimated 700,000 to 1 million spectators lined the winding mountain road. Many of them Dutch, waving orange flags and blowing air horns. The list of Dutch victors on this mountain reads like a cycling hall of fame. Joop Zoetemelk won twice, Henny Kuiper won twice, Peter Winnen won twice. Steven Rooks and Gert-Jan Thunissen added their names to the honor roll. But here's the question everyone asks. How does a country with no hills produce elite mountain climbers? The answer is wind. Dutch cyclists point to fierce North Sea headwinds as their secret weapon. Pushing into constant, relentless wind across the flat polders provides resistance similar to climbing a mountain, but without the relief of a descent. As Dutch riders put it, in hills, there's always the going down part, but the wind is always in your face. And when wind isn't enough, the Dutch do what they always do. They build something. In Drenthe province, they transformed an old garbage dump into a cycling course called the Col du Vam. 17 bends winding up a man-made hill with a 10% average gradient. A mountain built from trash, designed specifically for training cyclists who have no mountains. But perhaps the most remarkable expression of Dutch mountain obsession isn't about professional athletes at all. It's about ordinary people climbing Alpe d'Huez up to 6 times in a single day. Every June, 5,000 Dutch people travel to the French Alps for an event called Alpe d'Huez. The name is a wordplay combining Alpe d'Huez with zes, the Dutch word for 6. Participants climb the mountain up to 6 times in 24 hours, all to raise money for cancer research. The roads fill with cyclists in matching jerseys, cheered on by supporters waving Dutch flags along every hairpin turn. It started on June 6, 2006, the 6th day of the 6th month of 06, with 66 participants. Since then, it's raised over €208 million for the Dutch Cancer Society. The motto, Opgeven is geen optie, quitting is not an option. But why this mountain? Why any mountain? What is it about elevation that draws a flat nation so intensely? Researchers have actually studied this. A 2018 survey of European campers found that 31% of Dutch travelers were specifically drawn to mountains as a contrast to their homeland, the highest percentage of any nationality surveyed. Dutch artist Meerte van Dupen explored this phenomenon in an essay titled Dutch Mountain, Landscape of Fictions, Memories and Desires. She asked why people long so deeply for something their environment fundamentally cannot provide. And you can see this longing in Dutch art going back centuries. Golden Age painters like Jacob van Ruysdael pushed horizons impossibly low in their landscape paintings, devoting 2/3 of their canvases to dramatic cloud formations swirling above the flat earth. The sky became the Dutch mountain, the only place they could find drama and vertical scale. But in 2011, a cycling journalist named Thijs Zonneveld asked a radical question. What if the Dutch stopped accepting their flatness? What if they just built a mountain? His column on a Dutch news website proposed a 2-kilometer tall, 5-kilometer wide artificial peak rising from the lowlands. His final line, Die Berg komt er, the mountain will come. He expected nothing to happen. By the next morning, his inbox was flooded with responses from engineers, architects and dreamers. The joke became a movement. The Dutch Ski Association joined the cause. The Dutch Climbing and Mountaineering Association joined. The Royal Dutch Cycling Union joined. Architecture firms drew up actual engineering plans with detailed renderings. A brainstorming session at Eindhoven University of Technology opened with everyone in the room chanting together, Die Berg komt er. Engineers investigated 8 potential locations across the Netherlands. The estimated cost for a solid mountain up to €7 trillion. It would require 2.7 billion tons of sand and would depress ground levels up to 50 kilometers away from the weight. One engineering firm proposed building an exact replica of Mount Fuji rising 2,000 meters from the North Sea. By 2012, ambitions shrank to a more modest 500 meters. By 2013, economic reality killed the momentum. By 2015, the project website went dark. The Dutch never got their mountain. Vaalserberg, at 322 meters with its observation tower and souvenir shops, remains the consolation prize. It now features Europe's largest outdoor maze and draws tourists who want to stand in 3 countries at once. But here's the twist nobody expected. In 2010, the Caribbean island of Saba became an official Dutch municipality, a special territory of the Kingdom of the Netherlands. And Saba has something the European Netherlands never will: Mount Scenery. An 870-meter dormant volcano rising from the Caribbean Sea. Technically, the highest point in the entire Kingdom of the Netherlands is now a volcanic peak, 7,000 kilometers from Amsterdam. The flattest country in Europe solved its mountain problem by absorbing a volcanic island on the other side of the world. The Dutch relationship with mountains isn't despite their flatness, it's because of it. This is a nation that looked at the North Sea and said, "That's our land now." They reclaimed 1,650 square kilometers in the 20th century alone. They created an entire province called Flevoland from empty seabed. The mountain obsession is the same impulse redirected. Unable to build a real peak, they built 7 indoor ski resorts covered in artificial snow. They colonized Austrian villages every winter with their Dutch invasion. They conquered Alpe d'Huez so thoroughly, the French call it the Dutch Mountain. They raised over 200 million euros cycling up it for charity. They trained elite climbers using headwinds as altitude substitutes. As Dutch engineer Paul Thomas once put it, "We created our own country. We created our lakes. We planted our woods. The only thing we haven't done yet is a mountain. Not yet."